One. You better believe it. It's another episode of the Chef Fit Show. Not even called the Chef Fit Show anymore. It's just called Success Stories because that's what it's about. On today's episode, we have young Thomas Clarke, one of the all-stars within the Chef Fit Elite. And it's probably overdue that we tell this man's story, the results that he's gotten, and how he's gotten them. So, Tommy, thanks a million for jumping on, Chief.
What's happening?
So, Tommy, just give us a bit of background on yourself, man. Before we dive into Chef Fit and anything like that, just give us a bit of background on yourself, your career as a chef, you know, what's been going on with you the past couple of years.
So what? I've been a chef since I was 16, trying to work my way to the top, as you do as a chef. Traveled Europe, cooking all over Europe. Not particular, living what would likely be called the chef rock star lifestyle. And then sort of settled around Manchester, Sandbach, Cheshire way now. So
yeah,
more all grown up, coming up to the big 30. So yeah.
Boom. And in those past couple of years, obviously you'd lived that lifestyle, and I know when we first spoke that it definitely had caught up to you. So just give us an indication, because obviously your results have been amazing and the change has been absolutely gigantic in you. But where were you at physically and mentally before you started Chef Fit? Like, if you could try and backtrack to our first phone call when we first spoke, where were you at?
That first phone call was heavy. It was like the first time I properly told somebody. I don't know. It must be like the power of the mustache or something that got it out of me, like a stranger from the internet.
Trusting character.
Just got it all out of me. And I was just like, I need help. I was in a very dark place. It all caught up to me. Years of boozing and traveling to work and thinking my life was owned to the chef world. I'm one of them chefs who thought, yeah, I need to work 20 hours a day to prove that I am a chef. That's what chefs do. It's not what chefs do.
Yeah.
And I was in a dark place. I mean, I was sleeping in my car for some shifts because I'd worked long enough, and I lived further away from the workplace. So it'd take me an hour and a bit to get home. And I was like, well, an hour and a bit, I'll just sleep in my car and I'll get work early. It's fine. And that was I was at breaking point where I either took drastic measures one way, which would lead to a positive outcome, or drastic measures that lead to a negative outcome. So,
yeah.
Okay.
So the knock-on effect of that mentality of, you know, fucking hashtag chef life, where you're absolutely annihilating yourself. God knows how many chefs do that exact same thing and have that exact same mentality. And I suppose that's what the industry narrative is that chefs should, you should destroy yourself for your career. Now, when you think about in your own situation, what was the point where it was like, something's got to fucking give here, something's got to change? What was that point for you?
It was a point of where me and the fiance were looking at buying a house. And I was like, I'm not grown up enough for this. I'm like, in my mental house, I'm still going home drinking, countless amounts of beers and eating takeaways every night and being unhealthy, couldn't be bothered to do social events. And I got the energy to work because that's what, 10, 12 cups of coffee gives you. And countless amounts of energy drinks. But at home, I was just like, I can't do it. I physically couldn't do it. I mentally couldn't do it. And I was like, I need to change. If we're going to buy a house, grow up, start a family, something's got to change. And it just clicked in my head. I saw a video and I was like, that's what I need. I need somebody to kick me up the arse and let's get this shit going.
Totally. So when we had that conversation, I remember it was like you started the conversation in a very dark space, and I think we finished the conversation where you were on fucking cloud 9 because you knew that a change was going to come, and I think you adopted that mindset of, oh fuck, right, I'm going to do this now, I'm going to commit to doing it. So when we did speak and we had that great conversation and you had that breakthrough, we fast forward, like I'm trying to think of the timeline here. I think you might have joined in like March, I'm going to say.
Yeah, it was somewhere
February.
around March time. Yeah.
So like we think about that, okay, right, what is that? Six months later, you know,
Mm-hmm.
6 months later that you're into Sheffield. What is the result 6 months later? Like you've gone from being in a very dark space, very unsure of what the future held for you, didn't know, you questioned the decisions that you'd made within your career to fucking annihilate yourself. And then we went through the last 6 months. So what were the results of the last 6 months, Tom?
It's come a long way in 6 months. Like Sheffield for me was never about the fitness side. It was about trying to get the mental side happier and trying to find something to focus upon. And I started Sheffield about 92 kilos, 91 kilos. I weighed in yesterday at 78, just under. So, you know, it's along with the weight loss comes happiness, I suppose. You know, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, yes,
Big time.
I can push myself further. I plan my days now. You know, every morning there's a routine. I never had that. My morning routine before I started Sheffield was sleeping as long as possible. Get up in just in time for the kettle to boil, have a coffee, grab a croissant or something dirty Greg thing from the petrol station, get to work, smash a couple of energy drinks in.
Yeah.
Then go, and you can feel it. Like even when you wear chef whites, you just feel bloated constantly.
Yeah.
And now when I wear chef whites, I'm like, you know, chest up, proud, feel great.
Totally.
Look how fucking good I mean, my morning routine now is up, stretch, meditation, looking forward to the day. I've got my list of what needs to be done. And it's clarity. It's clarity. I know where I'm going in my day. I know what I'm doing. There's no head fuck in my head where I'm like, oh, hesitation. What am I doing at 5 o'clock? You know, if somebody wants something doing, tell me a time. I'll make a note to my diary. You've got me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Totally. I think what's important there is we backtrack a small bit, like you've dropped like 14, 15 kilos and that wasn't even the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we've got to understand first and foremost why that happened. So we'll dive into the tribe and stuff after, but just understand, and any chefs listening to this, that you need to come at it from the correct angle. Like if you think about what your goal was, Tom, like what was your goal stepping into Sheffield? Was it weight, or was it like I need to address something deeper? Like what do you think that was for you specifically?
It was definitely to address that deeper mental stability. Like I needed clarity. I need my life to be on one track, not 1,000 tracks. That's where I was. Like one day I'd wake up and be like, I'm doing this and doing that, and then the next day I'd be a million miles an hour that one day, and then the next day I'll be zero, lying on the settee, playing FIFA, ordering a pizza, waiting for the missus to come home, go to bed. And now I've got the correct energy every day. Same. If I'm off, if I'm at work, I'm up at the same time, same levels.
Totally.
Happy pretty much every day. Everybody has their bad days, but
of course. Yeah, totally. I think what's really important is the fact that you have gone like, okay, right, well, I needed to sort my headspace out. Like I needed to get clarity. I needed to sort my health out, and I needed to put my life on one track, going towards, you know what I mean, being a better person.
Mm-hmm.
The byproduct of doing that is that you're going to be in shape. You're going to fucking start losing weight, because automatically, if you need to get your life together, you start to regulate everything within your life. But if chefs and a lot of people will come in like, hey, I want to fucking lose, I need to lose like 10, 15 kilos. Like, that's great. You probably do, but it's not the problem. Unless you start fixing the problem, those fucking things aren't going to make any difference whatsoever. So when you think about the massive changes that you've had, Tom, where you're more organized, you've got more energy, you're in a far more positive state of mind, you've got clarity, and you're in good shape again. Why did this work? Like, what was it about being in Sheffield Elite and having that there? What was the difference there between fucking going and doing it alone or doing something else?
Accountability. That was the main part, especially with the tribe.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you get us to post maybe food pictures or weekly challenges, and if you don't do them, you get called out at the end of the day. And you know, everybody lies. Everybody claims they do it, but unless you're showing people and doing it, then are you really doing it? Because if you do it on your own, I can say, oh, you know, if you want to lose weight, I'm in a calorie deficit. or whatever. But, you know, eating them whole pack of biscuits and not, you know, if you close your eyes and eat them, it's still calories.
Totally.
It's still going to put on fucking weight.
Yeah.
But the accountability of, am I going to eat a pack of biscuits or am I going to get one? No, because I owe it to other people as well to prove that I can do it in this tribe. And it's lessons, and you can carry it on and just keep going.
Yeah. I think with that, you know, you have that environment of being held accountable, and that could be excess pressure for some people. You know, it can feel like pressure at times. And the problem is people don't see that as a good thing. The pressure is what fucking makes you grow. The pressure is the thing that makes you make the right decision. And eventually those decisions start to become second nature. And I think that's where you've gotten to now. So as a result of having that accountability, sure, it's fucking difficult. And I know you had times in work where you were trying to open up a new place and it was a fucking nightmare and you had this and that going on. But at the end of the day, you stuck with it through the hard times and the difficult times. And then you kind of have a breakthrough where now it's just the way you live, as opposed to, well, I'm just trying this thing and seeing what happens. It's like, no, you'll say you built this thing and it'll fucking stick with you for a long, long period of time in your life. So the accountability was the big thing for you. Now, when you look at what you've been able to achieve and you look at, you know, the commitment that you made, you know, was it worth the time, the money, and the effort that you put into this thing? Like, what you got out of it, was it worth what you put into it?
Worth it. Like, my life has changed upside down. It's changed my life for the best. I'm smiling all the time. Everything come to press. I managed to save enough money and put what I was spending on drugs, alcohol, fags, beer, which I cut. I mean, not saying I cut them out like the next day. They slowly went.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not one of them where it's like, stop it now. You know,
yeah.
You can't continue on that path if you cut it out straight away. And now I own a house. I'm settled. I've got a dog, I suppose. Call that family, can't you? It's basically a kid.
Basically a child.
That's one for the parents.
Yeah.
Basically a kid.
Little blonde child.
Yeah, my life has changed so much. And you wouldn't even thought that when I started it. I was just like, maybe even in the first like month when I've started Chef Fit, I was like, yeah, the guys at work like, where you going? I'm going to the gym. Yeah, you know, we'll see where this goes. You know, but then when you come out the gym, you're like, yes, I feel great. This is going to be changing. And then slowly it becomes part of your life. And now if I don't go to the gym, like X amount of times a week, I feel lost. And my mind sort of goes on a wander. It's like, well, you haven't done this, you haven't done that. And it's like, that comes down to organisation, I suppose, where I've got it all organised. And if I haven't ticked anything off at the end of the day, and then my day's sort of not complete.
Yeah, totally. I think if you think about that though, there's something I want to ask you there. Why did it work for you? Let me ask you that, because we've obviously, like, there's a great amount of success in Chef Fit Elite, but there's also people who don't make it happen. You know, the chefs that end up fucking stopping and not getting the result. You know, why did you get the result versus them?
So I put it down really to really to accountability, because I'm one of them people, like most chefs, where want to show off and look what I've done. And if you see people in the group going, oh, look, like I've run this or I've done this, you're like, I can do that. I can do that. Watch this. And then it continues to be like a little competition within myself, where you're like, I can do better than that. Totally. I can lose more weight than that. I'm happier than that. Okay. And that's what it sort of was when you try to do it on your own. You're only fighting against yourself, where you're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Where when you see it all on your phone, it pops up continuously where, you know, everybody's posting something. You're like, I'm going to do that tonight after work. I'll go for a run. It's fine. And that's how it worked for me. Whereas like I started to make it a little competition in my head.
Yeah. And
I just made myself accountable. I keep going back to it, but it simply is. Like,
that's the thing though. But that's the thing. And it's not like the accountability and the environment you're in is one thing, but you have to put yourself forward to fucking be part of it at the same time. You know, and a lot of people won't put themselves forward to be part of something. So when you think about it, like that pressure that you have from the accountability, you've got to embrace that. You know what I mean? You've got to embrace the competitiveness. You've got to embrace the fucking challenge. Because if you don't embrace those things, then you're just going to be like, oh, fuck, this is really, really bad. And this is really hard. And that's when you had that good example where when you started off and you would go to the gym and work or whatever, and you'd like, Jesus, this is fucking, you know, I'm doing this, I suppose. But you stuck with it for a long enough time. You committed for a long enough time that eventually you got the result, and you keep the result because it's the way that you do things, as opposed to, okay, right, I'm just going to see what happens. You know,
Yeah.
it's a really important point that everyone needs to understand. At the end of the day, as good as the system is and as good as Chef It can be, you have to commit.
It really is. It's like when I first started, like I started to go to the gym, and then after a couple, I reckon second month, third month, I started to lay back and not be involved in the group. And then I didn't really go to the gym as much. And I was like, I'm busy at work. My excuses started to come back. And I was like, I'll give this Chef It one more month and I'll knock it on the head. You know, I'll be polite. But then I started to realize that something was missing out of my life. I was just like, okay, I need something right now. And then I started to realize, oh, wait there. The gym, the food picks, looking after myself, it slowly started to become a part of myself. And it's like, yeah, that's the way I sort of, then I started to get really back into it. And then you start to see progression and everything else, and it doesn't come overnight.
No.
You know, 6 months in and you still have your dark days, or you still, you know, I still look at a pizza and go, I'll have that. Thank you. But, you know, you weigh it all up, I suppose.
Totally. It's a totally different perspective. So with where you're at right now, Tommy, like what would your advice be for chefs who are maybe in that position you were in at the beginning, or have that feeling of, oh, will I do something? You know, should I do this thing? I'm not too sure. You know, can I make the commitment? Can I fucking, you know, can I actually stick with something? You know, what is your advice to those people?
I put it down to do it for yourself. Fuck everybody else. When I put it forward to the rest of the chefs in the kitchen, I was like, have you seen this Chef It thing? Oh, it looks all right. So I could do this in my life. 99% of them were negative towards me. They were like, fuck off, Clarke. Come on. Like, you don't need that. That's just rubbish. Blah, blah, blah. Trust me, it's not. It's great. Do it for yourself. Don't do it for please other people, where, you know, you're always going to have them negative people in your life, and you need to block them out. And I've learned on the Chef It path that I've stopped communicating with them people as well. You don't need them people in your life. That,
wow.
Yeah, you need to look after number one. And if this is the kick up the arse you need, it's the kick up the arse you need, and you say it how it is, and everybody else in the group says it how it is. There's no, oh, don't worry, there's always tomorrow. Get your fucking act together. There's not tomorrow. Yeah. There's today.
Create tomorrow, chap. You know, literally, yes. Yeah, that's absolutely spot on. And I think with anyone that sees this, and for a lot of chefs, like obviously within this industry, you know, chefs are strange creatures, and they can get, you know, jumpy about things, or they can get very negative about things, you know, especially when I bear the brunt of it a lot of times, you know, and I think you can let that environment stop you, where you're listening to the fucking advice of people who don't really know what the fuck they're talking about, and you're listening to people who haven't really gotten any result in their life either, and they're probably deeply unhappy. Yet you're going to listen to them when it comes to, you know, yeah, fucking don't do that. Don't make a change. You don't need to. You know, it's like, actually, you probably do, you know, and you should be supported in doing that. So that is very good advice. Do it for yourself. Don't fucking do it for the people around you, because
massive.
at the end of the day, you have to put yourself first. So that is Tommy Clarke's success story. Chefs, if you are interested in the Chef It Elite and you want to be coached and you want to be held accountable and you want to fucking change your life, you want to get your health back on track for good, you want to get fit again, you want to get your energy back, and you want to be happy, then fucking get involved. You know, get involved. Reach out, start your 5-day challenge, or apply to join the elite group itself. That is Tommy's story. Check yourself before you wreck yourselves. Shocking bullets are bad for your health. Tommy, thanks a million, bro.
Peace
Chef,
out.
that's our story for today. Thank you for watching. Catch you all soon. Peace.